Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
The show, but that's okay. Lee, it's 9:03 right here on this 18th day of January, and this has been the wildest start to any morning show. I don't.
You gotta take an eye down.
Oh my goodness, the show started. It's 9:03, and we are doing top of the hour news today. We are hanging out with Michael Madden and Lee Cox in Alton Little Theater. Red Jasper is here.
I know. I'm so excited that he actually made it in from California.
I know. I'm excited too.
Yeah, look at the tan on you. You know, we were just talking, and I said, and Lee pointed out perfectly, we are a little bit more pale in complexion, but to have
usually I'm like that. Usually.
But to have you here brightening up the room, Michael,
thank you.
I'm
I'm thrilled to be in the area. I'm from St. Louis originally. I was here 5 years ago to have another play that the lovely and wonderful artistic director for Little Alton Theater decided to do that play, and we've been friends ever since. And I always love coming back to St. Louis because I was born and raised here and lived here for the first 30 years of my life. And even though I have a San Diego tan, I have a St. Louis heart.
Oh, look at that liner.
St. Louis Alton heart.
Oh, there we go.
That's a hyphen. It's a hyphen.
That's
it's not parentheses. It's a hyphen.
That's like North Alton.
He hasn't been here in the cold very long yet.
Yeah, ask me Sunday. Ask me
Wait till
Sunday.
tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, actually, the first play, it was an Arctic blast during Super Bowl Sunday, and it was 15 below. So this is like Hawaii.
That is true. And I had sort of blocked it out.
No, I didn't block it out. I still have nightmares about it.
Well, and this is exciting. 2 rooms. Before we go into tonight, because that's the big focus on this, we have Michael in from San Diego. Did we have a good turnout for 2 rooms with how cold everything was?
We didn't have a great turnout, but the people were wonderful. By and large, they were not our season ticket holders. They were new audiences,
Good.
Which we wanted. And they were so quiet because they were watching and listening, and it was just a beautiful production. We had students for the first time in a long time. I mean, a lot of students, because Christy Doring was directing, and it was very well received. I had Vietnam vets there. I had a lot of older people who, it was actually the guy who wanted to see it because they had followed the news in Beirut and everything. Of course, some people confuse what's going on modern day. I had to be very careful that they understood this was 1987, but many of them were alive then. The students were. But so it was very successful.
That's fantastic, and it seemed like it was. I mean, the way that the play was written was just fantastic too. But tonight, January the 18th, 19th, 20th. 21st, Red Jasper by Michael Madden. We have a long-standing relationship. I feel like I just met you, 20 minutes ago, Michael, but I've known you my whole life.
Yeah, I feel almost related.
Michael, take me through how you were able to develop the synopsis for Red Jasper.
At the core of it, it's a love story, and I am a syrupy, sappy, romantic comedy kind of guy. And I grew up watching all of the old movies in black and white in our basement, watching that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to write a love story. My sister, Maureen, is a cancer survivor, and so she's the heart of our family, and so I wanted to incorporate that. So I ended up interviewing between 40 and 50 breast cancer survivors at a Susan G. Komen run in San Diego, and I asked them all the same questions, and I was kind of shocked how viscerally they still reacted 5, 10, 15, 20 years later about things that happened during their treatment. And so I realized there was an incredibly uncomfortable number of things that people did wrong or said wrong, or they didn't do or didn't say right, that really made a difference to these people's emotions, which affects their immune system, which affects everything else. So I started incorporating that into the play, and I tried to make it really funny, and it ran for a month in San Diego. And what was interesting is that the people that laughed the most in the play or in the audience were cancer survivors, because they got it, So I took it to Susan G. Komen to say, could you just read this and give me some feedback? And they said, oh, this is exactly what people always complain about. So they asked to co-promote it, which really helped, and we got an NPR and a bunch of stuff. And it's turned out to be the most cathartically, emotionally fulfilling thing of my life, and that sitting in that audience night after night watching people really lose it, and especially after the play, going up to the cast and to me and stuff and saying, oh my God, I wish this, I wish my mom would have seen this, I wish I would have known this and stuff. I'll give you a quote that to me completely incorporates everything. The third or fourth night of the play, there was an older woman who was a volunteer, and a lot of theaters, older people volunteer so they can see plays and stuff. So this woman came up to me and said, Mr. Madden, I'm really sorry, but after I get done seating people, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the play. I said, oh, okay, why? She goes, well, I recently lost a friend to cancer, and I don't think I'm going to be comfortable watching. I said, I totally get it. I'm sorry for your loss. Everybody grieves differently. I understand. But, could you do me a favor? The beginning of the play, there's not a lot of stuff that's going to be uncomfortable. Could you just watch the play until it's uncomfortable? So she watched the whole thing. She came up to me afterwards crying, as I do all the time, and said, thank you for convincing me to watch it. I wish I would have seen this sooner, because I think I could have been a better friend to my friend. And that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
And, with that being said, that has to be the most beautiful thing I've ever heard about. Because we talk about testimonials and reviews all the time. Those mean little whenever you have a conversation like that, and the real mission of what you were trying to accomplish in this piece was achieved.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because, and with all cancer being so prevalent, and we all know somebody that's either lost their life or is currently battling with some form of cancer, do you think the way that it's such a, I hate to say common concern now, but since we all have to deal with it, do you think it's easier for them to connect in their own sort of archetypes in those stories, and own type of maybe smaller plots that connect with them and maybe an experience they had? Do you think that's what propelled this play, this Red Jasper, to really reach the heights it has?
I think so. I think you're exactly right about everybody being able to connect it. There's also some Alzheimer's stuff in there, and so Alzheimer's and cancer. I mean, everybody unfortunately has been connected to that in some way. I think the reason it connects is that all that information all those women gave me about, people mean well. Most people. Some people come up to somebody with cancer and say, do you have cancer? Which is so invasive.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible.
But they do that. And then they will continue to be more invasive, and they'll say, oh, what kind of cancer is it? And the person...
What stage?
Yeah, and people will tell them. And then I had two different women at two different times tell me that somebody came up to them in a grocery store. They had, a scarf on from chemo, and they looked like they had cancer, whatever that looks like. And they were asked both of those questions. They said, do you have cancer? Yes. What kind? Breast cancer. Oh, my aunt had that. She died. It's like, what? What did you just say?
No.
And she, they. It's not that they're bad people. Some of them though just want to talk about their situation.
Exactly.
And they want whether it's part of their grieving process, whether they're just self-indulgent, I don't know, or a combination of both, but somehow or other, a lot of that stuff that I wrote into the play, people really connected with that had cancer. And a lot of families afterwards said, I wish I'd have seen this, because I didn't realize I was doing the wrong thing when my mom, my sister, my uncle, whatever, had cancer.
Because we're in the driver's seat. You know, in that situation, when you're going 100 miles an hour through the process of helping or helping to manage with a loved one that does have cancer, you don't think about how you're perceived or what your outside appearance is. You're just you internally and going. But to take a step back and peel that curtain back from a third person perspective, I think that's where all the kind of checks and balances and really checking yourself on how did I really do with this this journey. I think that's where the real evaluation comes in.
Well, so there was a couple things that really resonated with people. One of them also happens when somebody dies. When somebody dies, somebody comes up to him and says, "Look, call me if you need anything." Why am I calling you? I'm the one that's had somebody die.
Thank you.
Call me and say, can I walk your dog? Can I go to the grocery store if I can do something? But I mean, just those empty gestures that are well-intentioned but really empty.
Correct.
Pragmatically, practically. That's why, for example, we were talking before, I love Ribbon Strength, because they're saying, okay, here's some money, which is, by the way, one of the charities that we're going to be giving money to
Absolutely.
from this. They say, okay, here's some money for transportation costs to and from chemo. Here's some money for utility bills because you're not working because you have cancer. Here's some money to help pay the rent. That's the practical kind of stuff that people forget about. Instead of just giving them 22 casseroles that they're too sick to eat.
That's what we had a big laugh because the cast, and they all drive 45, 50 minutes more.
Right.
And so they said, well, if it's bad weather, but we could stay here. And I said, I could make some casserole. So they're throwing Kleenex at me. But they're like, well, what kind of casserole?
Well, that's such a belief. In California, that doesn't happen. In St. Louis, if anybody breaks a toenail, somebody comes over and says, "Oh, here's a casserole for you," and then you reciprocate, and you never give back an empty one. You make something and give it to them. Right. In San Diego, people would move in the neighborhood, and my wife and I, who are both from St. Louis, we'd bring them over something. They'd kind of look at you like, okay, and then we'd have to go over there and say, "Can we have it back now?" Okay. Oh yeah. Did you think that was a gift or something? It's just different. So casseroles really resonate.
Or the box of expensive chocolates when she can't have sugar. Yeah. Like how dense her busy son is not at all like you.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But it's those little moments that, to me, tell a lifetime of someone's story. And I mean that in the way of, we've all had, the thing that still drives us crazy about a situation that happened maybe with a relative, and you maybe observe someone acting out of pocket or saying something completely wrong when they didn't mean to, and it could cause, years of, tumultuous relationships within a family. It could end a lot of relationships a lot of the times. And to be able to really have this into a spotlight where we can see how outside factors really affect the individual with the disease, because I think sometimes as caregivers, we forget that we aren't the ones suffering from the disease. We're supposed to be caring for the one that is suffering for it, not just talking about what makes us happier, makes us feel better about ourselves on this journey.
And I do hospice work in San Diego, and there's just a certain group of people that are doing it to be able to talk about it at a cocktail party, and the same thing, like, oh, I took my friend, she has cancer, I took her to her treatment the other day. I was really busy, but I made the time because she's a good friend of mine, and I drove all the way down to Clayton from Creve Coeur and dropped her off, and then I went and had lunch, but I picked her up on the right time. And that kind of stuff.
You're right.
But most people just are doing it for the right reason. Right. It's just that other people color the experience for a lot of people wrong.
But I love so many lines in the show. But one of the things the cast picked up on right away is when Tom, who's new then, says, "Oh, you're so brave," and the nurse says, "Uh-oh." As he goes into, why am I brave?
Yeah.
Why do people think I need to be, heroic about this or something?
I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to continue my life. There's nothing brave about that.
So that is actually part mind reader. I don't know if it's the mother-son, proverbial connection here, but all I know is that
she's more like a daughter to me. So it's hard for me to feel that way.
We're just about the same age.
It's the tan. It must have affected my head.
It does that to people.
It really does, yeah. The pigmentation.
With that being said, Lee, whenever you were going through Red Jasper and you were reading through the lines, was there one line, and we don't like to give away the portions of the play, but was there one line that really drove home the meaning of it? Because in this, there's so many powerful stanzas and there's so many powerful quotes, but there's always that one piece that sums it up for you.
There probably is a line, but the last scene, I can barely hit the light cues because I continue every night to have tears streaming down my face. Because I so admire her character, Izzy's character, because she lives until she dies, and then when she dies, it's really okay. Her last speech, I mean, my husband was bawling, and he's now seen it 3 times, and I'm like, he was trying to take pictures, and I could tell the camera was like, but it's just so beautifully written, and everyone has said that. It is so beautifully written.
And for those out there that not just had the spoiler that Izzy is no longer with us, the other thing people said repeatedly is that a lot of people didn't want to come because it was about cancer, and they said, didn't come, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then people said, it really gave me hope. And that's the thing, is that even though people have to deal with this stuff, it still gave them hope about people that have it, people that are survivors, and people that aren't, because it's part of the process. And I agree. It's a beautiful play, and it's a great play for actors, because Izzy's character, it's just, it's the quintessential woman's part, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Meryl Streep could really tear it up,
Yeah.
Well, I want on top of that too, I think the way that it's real is what I think is so poignant, because so many times when we see the cancer story on Hallmark or whatever you watch it on Broadway or anywhere, it's 9 times out of 10 ends with this hunky-dory, oh look, we're all better and we're all on greener pastures, but that's not the case a lot of the times.
No.
And it's great. I think the realness of that, to have that little bit of a spoiler, I honestly, I think that tells you what this is all about, and eventually the end of the road will come.
But I want people to realize that, because people, she died. I don't
Yeah,
see
okay,
it.
yeah, it's
But
true.
the thing is that it's really, really funny. It's really, and when you juxtapose things that are emotional and deep, and then the audience is just, they're almost emotionally exhausted, and then you hit them with a joke, they really are looking for an excuse to laugh.
Yeah.
And they laugh, and they laugh really hard. And so when you go from the funny to the serious, the funny to the serious, it makes each one more powerful because they just had a laugh or they just had an emotion. And that's what people also said. I didn't expect to laugh so much. I didn't expect to laugh so much. And that's also what I want. There's nothing more enjoyable to me than watching people laugh and cry.
When you were talking to the women, when you were writing this play, were you surprised by some of I don't want to say raunchiness, but some of the humor and some of their. I mean, did it blindside you? Because to me, whenever I'm hearing that, I'm going, I can't write this. People are going to think I'm an evil person or I'm rude. But I mean,
I was writing it. I guess I was a little bit surprised, but my sister, she had a right good attitude about it. I knew a lot of people that had attitudes like that, but. I wrote it for the cancer survivors,
right.
And I wrote it for people whose families had cancer in it, so they could see, because you can't be sad 24 hours a day.
No.
It's exhausting.
Exactly.
And so you have to look at it. And, when my sister had cancer, we were laughing last night, we'd go to a restaurant, and I'd say, my sister has cancer, can we get a good table? And they give us a great table, and my sister still laughs about it today, because you just have to kind of be real about it,
You do.
Me saying that doesn't mean it's not going to take anything away from her cancer, but, why not play so my sister said, yeah, Michael used to play the cancer card with me all the time. And the women with cancer would say sometimes, I would use the cancer card because I didn't want to see somebody go somewhere, do something.
Yep.
So, you'd have to be, you can't make light of it too much, but you have to be realistic
exactly.
about it. Yeah.
And that's why I think this is such a powerful performance, because this isn't Hallmark. This is life. And that's why I think it's a really great thing for Lee to have this here at Alton Little Theater and for you to be a part of this. It's a huge thing to kick off the part 2 of the 90th anniversary of Alton Little Theater, but also it really shows your strength in community theater, Lee, as well. And Michael, as you're looking for places, and I'm sure you get numerous emails, phone calls about, hey, can we bring this here?
Not as many as you'd think.
Oh, come on, Mike. Help the story.
New York, Paris, Istanbul call today.
Yeah, that's right. Amsterdam will call tomorrow. But when we're talking with theater executive directors and directors in general, what do you look for in homes for Red Jasper? Is there some type of just criteria that you have?
Yeah, there has to be a certain intimacy. I'm looking in St. Louis, and I want a theater that's about 100, 150 people, because a big theater, it's just not intimate,
Absolutely.
And you have to have that. And other than that, they have to have a sensibility. I look at what the kind of shows they do, and if they're doing all musicals, no, it's not going to happen. But because ultimately, again, it's a really good love story, and I'm a real romantic. And my favorite thing about writing this was watching the characters fall in love really honestly and realistically, and being heartfelt. Watching a love story was always my favorite thing. So I love that aspect of it, woven within all the practicalities of cancer and Alzheimer's and stuff. The fact that it's just a really sweet love story of people later in life. And when people fall in love later in life, they usually fall in love with people who are being their authentic self, because at a certain age you go, I'm just going to be who I am. I don't care. I'm tired of all the other stuff. And when you fall in love with somebody being their authentic self, you really fall in love.
Absolutely. Can we take a quick pause
Sure.
on that? Because I think that's a great stopping point. It's 9:22, but we aren't going anywhere. We got Michael in here, Lee Cox, and the weirdest start to my morning show, I think, in 6 years. But that's okay. That was fun. It's exciting, and we got more conversation hitting you right after this in the heart of the 618. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway safe rubber tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Maybe I'm afraid of the way I leave you. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you help me sing my song. Right me when I'm wrong. Maybe I'm amazed at the way I really need you.
927. You know, I like Paul McCartney better than Wings. It's an unpopular statement. I get it. I know. Hey, before we go back to the conversation, Dan Brandon did break some news here a couple of moments ago out of Carrollton. The Carrollton Police Department has requested public assistance in locating a missing/runaway juvenile named Riley. Here's the latest. Riley has not been seen or heard from since January the 3rd. A few weeks ago, the Carrollton Police Department said in a statement, if you have seen Riley or know where she is, immediately contact the Carrollton Police Department at 217-942-3135. That's 217-942-3135. My apologies. I just want to make sure we got that information out.
Parents' worst nightmare.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, getting back to tonight, because this is, I don't think anyone realizes, Lee, just as a whole, to really have someone like Michael coming in, and I mean, it really adds to Alton Little Theater and its legacy. And I mean, and I'm not patronizing you at all, Michael. I really mean that, and it shows testament to your leadership, to you and Kevin's, to get this done.
And the cast is so happy, and they're terrified.
That's okay. So hold that thought. Michael and I had a great conversation on this because the play has been in different areas and it's been traveling throughout the country. And Michael, can I ask you a little bit more about this, because I found it so fascinating what you said, because you wrote this and you guys had a heck of a cast in San Diego perform this, and now when you're going out to different locations, different theaters, is there a little bit of, you know, some nerves that are always kind of flowing there?
When you write and direct something, you know, you control it completely. You know in your head what you want to hear and see and what you want the characters to do. The first play was in San Diego, and then I brought it to St. Louis. I produced it, but I didn't direct it. And I remember coming to the opening night. I went to the dress rehearsal the night before, and it was horrible. It was a horrible dress rehearsal, and I thought, I got all these friends and family coming in St. Louis. I'm going to be mortified. It's not going to be good. And then it just killed. We sold out all three. It was great. And what I learned from that, and subsequently went around to 5 different places in the country, is that every place did a little bit differently. They have to read the same words, but the nuances that the director picks up on the characters, or the blocking, where they put the people on the stage, or how they have things happen, and the music and the lighting is just different.
Yeah.
And instead of being frustrated, I began to realize, oh my God, how did I not see that? Why didn't I know that? Why didn't I think of that? And I would write it down, and then in subsequent rewritings, I would add that to it. So because of that collaboration among 5 or 6 different places, this last play, I realized the collaboration is really the biggest form of art.
Uh-huh.
And so as I was writing the play, we were also rehearsing the play, and as actors had input, I would always say, if you give me an input or suggestion, I will either take it and use it, or I will tell you why I'm not using it. Because you can't just say no. You say, well,
Exactly.
I'm not doing it because of this.
Yes.
Because then you shut off the communication. So when they did the last play, again, they just did such a beautiful job. They did it a little differently, and I loved it. And each character is a little different.
A coffee shop, a real coffee shop with a barista.
Yeah, I mean, in San Diego, it was just a black box. It was just a black curtain.
didn't know him then. I thought, what's he gonna do?
It
Kill
was
me?
great. It was great. It brought it to life, and because of stuff like that, I wanted to have a real set for this play, and so. That's why I love that they're doing it. I trust them implicitly. I trust her and the way, when you write something, anything, and you want feedback, you give it to somebody and say, "Could you tell me what you think of this?" And you're counting the hours until somebody calls you back or emails you or something.
Right.
And usually. You call them in a month and say, "Hey, did you ever oh yeah, I've been busy." Oh, okay. Well, I gave it to her and she said, "I'm going to go on vacation and I'll read it on vacation." So I get either a phone call or a text, I don't even remember anymore, but she called me from the airport. She said, "I'm sitting here, I've just read Red Jasper and I'm sitting here crying."
Mom, is that woman okay?
I want to do it. This is on her way to her vacation, which is why I love this woman.
I love it.
So she got it, and and she gets it, and that's why I love being part of what she's doing.
I think this is why Red Jasper is so powerful too, because what we talked about earlier, the connectability to the meaning of the story. Because as we talked about, so many experience it, and they're different interpretations. I can only imagine, because to me, I'm a pretty prideful person in my initial work, and I think I'm still learning it's okay to adapt and change it over some time. Whenever you're starting to get those suggestions and you're starting to see this play out and go, duh, I should have had this in here. Was it any type of personality change for you in how you work or write? Because to me, I put the wall up. This is what it is.
Yeah.
But man, maybe I should start, utilizing. That's just me personally.
I don't know if I became a different person, but I became a better director or better writer. At least
Great
better
point.
at it, and realizing that,
Point.
you don't know everything and you can't everything and you don't have to own something. If the script has good bones, it's going to have good bones, And, the other thing about the play that is really important, besides the fact that, what you learn from it, is that you really have, as we get older, as I get older, and I'm old, you do realize with the passage of time that, time is ticking, and you need to do things and say things now.
Yep.
And you don't let time pass without telling people how you feel, what you think, and that's another message in this, is that you got to take advantage of the time you have now with the people you love. Because once it's over, and regret is horrible. And everybody dies with a little regret. I do a hospice work, and I always ask people, "What regrets do you have? Is there anything we can fix before you go?
Wow.
Is there anybody we can, get together with, or can we write something, or can we do something? Can we repair some bridges or whatever?" And it's really interesting to see people do it, and people that have been reticent for 20 years, when you just make the effort, all of a sudden it's reciprocated immediately, and people go, "Oh, we wasted 20 years.
Exactly.
Let's not waste 20 more minutes."
Right. And I think all of that experience, though, Michael, I think it adds to the writing ability.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted your thoughts on this, because I've talked to some folks a while ago when I do pro wrestling. We talk to the TV writers, and they have different views on stuff, but do the real world experiences, not in terms of what you see on television or the news, but what happens to Michael Madden, do you think that's what drives your writing more than maybe any media source or any type of other forum?
I think the daily rhythms of life are really what's the most important thing. And everybody's got a book in them. Everybody's got a play in them. Everybody's got something. Everybody's got some interesting thing that happened to them or for them or with them or at them. And writing it down, even if it's not going to turn into a play, even just writing it down is powerful. It's great for your kids. It's great for your grandkids. It's great for your friends. You look at things differently. One of the interesting aspects of it, you write something down about something that happened to you. You show it to somebody that was also there. They said, "That's not what happened." They're like, everybody sees the same incident completely, especially among siblings. You have 3 or 4 siblings, and you write about something that happened, and they go, "Mom didn't say that," or "He didn't do that," or "You weren't like that." It's like, well, I thought it was. It's all perspective.
Yeah, And speaking of that, kind of a great tie into Elephant's Graveyard. Well, you'll hear different stories next week. But getting back to Red Jasper, Michael, when you're going through, was there one edition of this outside of San Diego that you think encapsulated the story the best, or do they all tell it in a different way that equals the same amount of severity?
No, what you said before, you said that it traveled around the country. It hasn't traveled around the country. No, the other play did. The other play traveled around the country. No, it's hard. After COVID, it was so hard on theaters. So many theaters closed. And the demographic of theaters, of community theaters, is older typically. And so when theaters, it's my experience, when theaters start to come back, the ones that survived, people didn't want something. They wanted Oklahoma, they wanted something they were familiar with. Arsenic Lace for the third time. They wanted something they were familiar with, or they wanted something that was upbeat.
Yeah,
and upbeat stuff always sells. So it's still kind of in that context. People still haven't come back as much as they did before, and so it's hard to get a play like this with the subject matter to out there, because people are like, well, I don't know. And
exactly.
And I've said, look, I will underwrite the cost of the production. I will pay for the production cost, and when the money comes in from ticket revenue, which I guarantee it will, then you can keep the profits. And I will guarantee you a minimum of this much money that you'll make no matter what the ticket costs are.
Right.
And I thought that people would be falling over themselves. They go, well, I don't know. We'll have to get back with you. So it's really frustrating to go through and feel like you have.
Done it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lisa, hell yes. We talk a lot.
She's not just a pretty face, okay?
No,
she's a cute.
I'm keeping that theater open.
Business person.
Well, and honestly, too, like you said, Michael, and I've said this before with Lee not in the studio because she won't let me, but a visionary really for local theater.
Totally.
Because the darkest night of live performances was the pandemic, and to get out of that and really do whatever it takes to get out of it. And you said time and time again you would, and it shows. We've talked so much about how a play would translate in Florida to New York to St. Louis to Los Angeles. Are there any geographical crossovers or any type of kind of differences that our audience is going to have to connect to, or is it such a connected play? Because we've mentioned Casseroles, which is a Midwestern thing. Is there any type of tie-in like that our audience is going to be unfamiliar with that's a West Coast theme or an Eastern Coast theme?
No. I think if we can just get them there, I know they're going to identify and enjoy it. But Michael's exactly right. We don't have a lot of season ticket holders because even in 2 rooms they said, oh, it's like watching the news. And I'm a news junkie.
Me too, yeah.
So I don't kind of get that. But I'm like, you don't want to know what's going on in the world. But again, I have 40 years as a therapist, so I've talked to people about this feud they've had with 20 years, and they don't even remember why they've had it. I talk to parents all the time who have an estranged or strained relationship with a child. I mean, there's so many things in this show that people can really identify with. And yes, some funny things. In fact, Pam Boker, who plays the lead, you just saw her in 2 rooms, but she's diminutive. And so, first of all, I found this red jasper stone that she's given, and then she also brings in stones from her garden. And the other night, she's like, did you have to buy such a big one? she's like, you are stronger than I am. I'm like, well, I didn't think I was stronger than you, but she's very little. I'm like, I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure everybody could see it.
Learning
It's true.
Learning experiences,
And people at intermission, I would go out amongst the customers and crowd and stuff, and people would say, "What's this? Why is it Red Jasper? What's this Red Jasper thing?" I'd say, "Just wait. I'm not going to spoil it. We'll tell you what it's about. It will strike a chord."
And I've been into energy healing forever, and I didn't know what it was until we met and talked and dissected it out in his beautiful garden in his backyard. And
I will, and one of those things too, I think regardless, just that symbol, that symbolic piece, it could be open to interpretation as well, I'm assuming too, in that, and what does that really mean?
I mean, everything's like that. Everything's a metaphor, everything's
I love it.
Simile, everything's something, and although there's a general idea that people get out of it, like any good play, when you leave, everybody's got a little different take on it. And you know, what was your favorite part? Oh, this. Oh, no, I like this. Or oh, that really resonated with me. And that's what I hope really, really happens. And back to what you were talking earlier about what this visionary does, the fact that she's bringing in, first of all, they're doing 3 plays in 3 weeks.
That unheard
is
of.
Almost, logistically impossible.
Yes.
And to do them with sets, I mean, it's really pretty incredible. So that alone is really great. The fact that she's got doing 3 plays that people really don't know anything about.
Right.
You know, people are not coming to this play tonight because, oh, Red Jasper, can't wait to see it. They're like, well, what, Red Jasper? They're coming because they trust her, because of things like this, because there was an article in the paper. You know, they're coming, and because the weather's better this weekend than last weekend.
Right, correct.
It's not great, but it's better than last weekend. And so I think hopefully some people that were housebound last weekend, it's a chance to get out. It's a chance to do something different tonight. You know, I can't watch football all the time. You know, let me just watch this. And I think they'll be rewarded. And I think anybody that's got an emotional connection to anybody in their past, present, or future that's going to be in that realm will connect to it.
And I don't know for sure that this is true, but when you were talking about people around the country, I now get scripts from new playwrights,
Wow.
new scripts a lot. And in fact, the next 2 years, I've already kind of made my choice as to what we'll do for the studio series. But I think that might be because they do check out the website.
Totally.
And they've read the total and beautiful things. And things that even I didn't know about the other 2 shows. I knew a lot about Red Jasper because we've been friends and talked, but I didn't know Lee Blessing, Show 2 Rooms, was named by Time Magazine the best play of the year in 1988. And we did 2 Blessing plays, and I should have known that, and I didn't until I got into it. And then Thomas Neely, who's got the Deluxe Freak Show.
Oh, yeah.
He is so intelligent and knew everything about George Brandt's story about the Elephant's Graveyard. And I thought, oh, nobody's going to know this story because I tripped out to Tennessee to...
Dang it! Now I got to be good, Lee!
Really got to be good.
Dang it! I want to get back because you brought up a great point. And you said that, you know, some of the casts are knowing that Michael's going to be in attendance tonight, and with that comes a little bit of nerves and all the fun stuff that comes with it. But, Michael, let me ask you first. What's your advice to maybe one of the performers if they're watching today and knowing that the big guy's in the house, ready to come observe this?
Before I wrote and directed, I was an actor.
Okay.
And so I know what that feels like. I've been in that situation before. The last person that's going to come in and say anything is a writer. You know, they're not going to say anything to you. If somehow your performance isn't what they thought it was going to be, they maybe will say something to a director, maybe to the producer, but mostly they're going to keep their mouth shut. They're just glad that somebody is doing their play.
Okay.
They're just glad. And so I will go in and I will find something wonderful about every one of their performances because there is something wonderful about every one's performance. You know, when people... As an actor, you see a lot. People come that are actors and watch your plays, and then you have to reciprocate. So you end up seeing a lot of bad plays, and some of the most creative things you ever come up with in your life are what to say to the actor after the play. Really, because most people are going, how did you memorize all those lines, But there's always something like, when you look at some performance, like that decision where you picked up the cup and held it, was that your decision or was that the director's? And when you looked, when you were looking over there, that was really intriguing. But in this case...
He's so good at this. I'm not. I get quiet. Which is, they know.
This is a bad night. Don't talk to Lee.
There's always something good to say, and I love seeing an actor, and I think that's why the actors in San Diego loved being in the play, because every night they went outside, and there was a group of people, and people would come up to them and hug them that didn't even know him, and they'd say, "Oh my God, you this was great. You reminded me of so and so," or "I'm glad it is," or they just cried.
Yeah.
And actors weren't used to it. These actors, the first couple of nights, are like, "Oh my God, I was freaking out." This woman came up to me and threw her arms around me, started crying. I'm like, I didn't even know who she was. And by the third or fourth night, they're like, they can't wait. They're like, can't wait to connect and stuff. So I think it's a good It's a good actor play because they really do get to emote. And so however they do it tonight, it's fine. You know, every problem I have, luckily in life, is a first world problem. And it really is.
It's
It
true.
totally is.
You're
It
right.
totally is.
You're
At this stage
100%
of my life, I got madly in love with my wife. I got 2 great daughters. I'm not eating dog food. You know, I love my life, and so I just can't sweat the small stuff, which you also realize as you get older. You shouldn't sweat the small stuff. I still got me on the freeway, but that's it. I'm sorry, the highway. The highway.
That's right. That's a great point, though. And you know, in terms of all the, and that's what Lee and I have talked about time and time again, is all the craziness in the world. You turn on any news station or any other station, you're going to find some type of crazy. So why can't you just come and enjoy the show and just realize, like you said, there's always a good part of something. And I think that's a huge testament, because regardless, I've seen them rehearse, and I hate to do this to them, they're kicking ass. I mean, they are
for this show.
Oh my goodness! I peeked my head in for 5 minutes, and I just was sitting here watching it, going, "Could we have gone second, and we could have put Red Jasper third? This is going to be a little bit tough to follow here." It's like,
but they're all very different. They're all very different shows, and so
It's true.
I know the 4 people who were double cast in major roles.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a little stressful for them, but
Oh my
I also
God, I
think
can't even. I didn't know she was in
2 rooms.
2 rooms.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I played this uptight
Yeah.
State Department
So
lady.
how could I possibly get upset with anybody that's doing 2 roles? People don't realize how hard it is to remember lines, and to remember lines the older you get, the harder it is.
Yeah.
And to do 2 shows kind of simultaneously.
Exactly.
Is overwhelming from a logistical standpoint. So I can't wait to meet her and just bow down at her and say, "Oh my God, I have so much respect for your talent to be able to do that and pull it off." It's really incredible.
It really is.
And Pam, we are so fortunate. She's done both equity and non-equity work. And when it was apparent that I might not be at the top of my game right now, I went to her. I'd done a show with her, and I said, "You are this character. I know you can do this. So I need you to do this because it's sort of my baby, and I need you to be Izzy if I can't do it." So she is.
Well, and that's what I really think it's going to be all around the board, just boxes ticked, and really just a lot of smiling faces because of the connectability, because of the fact that, oh my goodness, this is something I did. This is cousin Johnny that did this to Grandma, or anything like that. But also the fact that in 3 weeks you were able to have so many performers on. And like you said, simultaneously, there were folks rehearsing for 2 rooms at the same time. We were doing Elephant's Graveyard. Then they were doing, this is the wild part, Michael, they were doing Best of the Best Christmas rehearsals during the plays.
Oh, my God.
It was incredible.
And then they moved for a poster out in the
That's
shed
right.
with a heater, and they're out there. You can see their breath, and they've got coats on trying to be romantic. And finally I said, "Kevin, come and use the foyer." He's like, "Well, I don't want them to hear our voices when they're fighting." I'm like, "Well, just be quiet."
But, I mean, that's the dedication. And I think, Lee, that's why Alton Little Theater for 90 years has been a powerhouse. And for the next 90, you'll continue to be one, because what you have is something special. And what you have is dedicated performers that love coming to Alton Little Theater. Michael, I have a couple more questions for you, because I got to get the whole hour in. We started off on a very wild note.
First of all, I just for the listening public, I've done a number of podcasts. I have a couple of friends in San Diego that have incredibly powerful and successful podcasts. The fact that your energy is so high and comfortable, but yet still comfortable, and your questions are so enthusiastic and well-researched to elicit a very specific question and answer back from me, that's really hard to do. It really is, and I really appreciate it. You made this time just fly by, and it's been effortless, and your honest feedback and enthusiasm have been really, really comfortable.
Thank you very much.
Is that what you told me?
Yeah, well,
I didn't know if I got the words right.
I was supposed to slip you the 20 after the commercial break, but that's okay. Hey, going back to how'd you get started into performing? Because I got to know a little bit more about you overall as a performer.
Okay, I'll give you the short version. I was a chiropractor for 25 years. I was in a car accident in 1998. I had to sell my practice. I then became Mr. Mom. I also I was the director of San Diego Blues Festival for 4 years, as well as the co-producer. Then I wrote screenplays for a year, cathartic but not economically fulfilling. Then I bought and sold jewels in Asia for 4 years. And then I viscerally missed being Dr. Madden, so I started a functional medicine practice, which worked on the systems of bodies, hormones, things like that. I did that for 3 or 4 years, realized I didn't want to do that anymore. I took an acting class. My sister was a professional actor for 40 years, made a living at it in L.A. and New York, which is about 10% of the population of actors.
Wow.
And so I took an acting class. My parents used to do, had a banjo and bus vaudeville show they did for 40 years in St. Louis. So I love being in front of people. I love being on stage. I used to do a lot of seminars. And so acting came really comfortable, and I started, I was in a couple really bad plays, and it was one-act plays, so I wrote a one-act play. It got picked up. It won the festival I entered. I increased that to the Fringe Festival. Then I increased that to a regular play. I realized I loved writing. I really loved directing. And now I still do some acting stuff here and there, but it's mostly writing and directing.
When you're directing, would you get joy out of watching the character come to life throughout the progression of rehearsal and through the progression of, just going through and reading lines and making sure you're finding the right personality?
Yeah, more than me doing it.
That's right. I was wondering.
It's more fun to watch them say my words than me do the words, and it's more fun to see them up on stage getting standing ovations than me being up there. And that sounds a little Mother Teresa-ish, but I was surprised that I felt that way so honestly.
Well, and that's what I think is really fascinating too, because I'd never done a play before. Lee called me and said, "CJ, we could really use you."
Were you in something?
Elephant's Graveyard next week.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why we keep kind of hinting at that.
No kidding.
That's the call to action.
Cool.
How many tomatoes are you going to throw out in a cello on Friday? But whenever I was sitting there, because I'm new to this, I only did wrestling, but I'm watching because I never read the play all the way through, to be honest with you. I got to rehearsal and said, let's do this. But as I got to see all the story arcs come together, all the character arcs really start to flow, it's like, this is beautiful. This is the most beautiful formula for anything. I mean, you can see it in real time, your story coming to life, and especially if you write it.
And being in a play as an actor I did some movies out in San Diego, and I remember going to a premiere, and we were on the red carpet, and in San Diego it wasn't a big fine red carpet, but it was still a very short red carpet. Anyway, I remember meeting all these people, and they were in the movie. I never saw them because they weren't in my scenes. And you shoot out of order, you don't shoot scenes in the right order, so there's no continuity, there's no linear progression of the show. In a play, you're with rehearsal for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. You're in a play for 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. You're going through this. You have the same angst. You have the same trepidation. You have the same concern. And it is like corny, like we're like a family.
It is.
And you see that person 3 years later, and you know them, and you still know them, and you still connect. And that's why I really loved being in plays, because the community, the camaraderie is overwhelming.
You know what's wild? I was actually going to ask you whether the difference is between being on a film set or a TV set to being on stage.
Film sets are so boring.
Well, and see, that's fascinating to me, because I've heard multiple people say that if they had the chance, they would never do film again. They would go back and do something where they can be in front of the crowd or do something with their fellow coworkers.
When you're watching a movie, you got to realize that try to think what the person's saying and take away the music, because the music really sets the tone. So if somebody's saying something kind of emotional, but the music is really emotional, the words sound more emotional.
Can I ask you about the music in the performance tonight? Because we are going to have some songs, correct?
But he only knows one.
I'm not going to tell you the song.
No.
I'm not going to tell you the song, but we had to jump through some hoops, and a bunch of you have to get clearance for people that that own the rights to it, and so I had to make a bunch of calls to Disney.
Yes.
And so
the Big Mouse.
You're dealing with corporate, the Big Mouse House, and then they also had to have me talk to somebody else who co-owned other rights to it. So I had to do some heavy stepping, but I got the okay. And so we can use it without fear of reprisal.
Yes,
factor.
That was one of my big fears. I thought, because I love that people watch what we do, But I thought, oh, Disney is going to come after us. But he solved the problem.
I'm suing you.
I told them the truth about what it was, and I also brought the fact that, by the way, this in their benevolence,
amazing.
This will raise money. A substantial portion of the tickets, which, by the way, are $10. Hello, $10. Okay,
Thank you.
$10. Okay, so anyway, a substantial portion of that is going to go to three. I love this woman and her charitable
amazing.
heart.
Just amazing.
One of them is Ribbon Strength, which is, like I said earlier, it helps pay people's costs when they're going through cancer. That's the Alton Memorial. The second thing is Alton High School Theater Department. As happens all over the country, when budgets get cut, they don't cut sports, they cut arts.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so that gets cut, so this helps. And having two daughters involved in the arts and sports, the percentage, it's like 40% of more kids drop out of school, get pregnant, drugs, alcohol, when they're not doing something after school.
You're right.
So it's a big deal. And the last one is the Treehouse Wildlife over in Dow, 8.5 acres. That's been there for a long time. They're not funded with any government stuff. They take care of injured and abandoned wildlife. It covers every spectrum. If you like animals more than people, we got people. If you like kids more than adults, more than sick people, you like sick people. So whatever you're coming tonight,
Can I add something on Treehouse real quick? Kelly was just on too, and this is why I'm so glad it's going to Treehouse. Their next goal is to make these unique opportunities for veterans with PTSD issues to go out there, and I think that is so huge. And I'm not going to tell the story, but there is somebody that I know that battled that very badly and talked about being just with horses on a farm and really utilizing the animals, and it's a huge thing. And I think that's a huge call to action because, Michael, I don't know if you know this, Christy is one of the legends of the area in terms of what she's done at Alton High School, and that theater department is just amazing. Those kids are...
And they slashed her budget.
Yeah, and she did more with a slashed budget. That's what I think's incredible.
Yeah.
And what those kids are doing, and Lee has these youth summer acting courses that are really helping too. But just to have that kind of powerhouse, it's what keeps the farm system of Alton Little Theater, and it's just amazing.
And it's one of the reasons tickets are $10 because she wants to open it up to students and seniors and stuff like that, and
young people who don't make a lot of money,
and young people that don't know theater because sometimes younger people have a hard time, their attention span is because of how it's been developed with social media.
Yes.
Their attention span is not very long.
30 seconds.
And so when you sit in a play, you are forced, you can't use your phone, and you're forced to sit there, and a lot of people find out this is relaxing. This was a very relaxing hour and a half. This was comfortable. I didn't have to worry about what I was missing or, FOMO. There was no FOMO the whole time I was doing this. So that's a really important reason why I think younger people need to go to the theater because it does shut them out of the other stuff.
I will say this. If you have some issues with your phone separation anxiety, Lee is a licensed therapist who can help you in the play. She'll talk with you while she's doing lights because she can do it all. Maybe not, but after the play, she'll talk to you about why your phone got taken away from you if you're young.
Yes, exactly. I love you so much, but we have a radio gig. We gotta go down the road.
9:58's the time, Michael. Anytime you're in town, please stop by. I'm glad we got
much.
to have fun today. We'll take a quick break. Top of the hour news rolls around the corner right here in the heart of the 618. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Timber!
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around.
Hey, breaking national news at 10:03 sent to me by No Labels. They just had a press conference. No Labels, that 501c4 organization. We're going to be talking to Pat McCrory tomorrow. We're going to be talking to the former governor of North Carolina and getting the latest on this. We're going to be talking, just got that notification, has filed a formal complaint with the United States Department of Justice asking it to investigate an alleged unlawful conspiracy to subvert American voting rights, intimidate potential candidates, and shut down the organization's efforts to secure ballot access for the 2024 election. In a detailed 8-page letter addressed to Kristen Clark, Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division, and the Acting Assistant Attorney General, Nicole M. Argentaria, for the Criminal Division, cite substantial evidence to support No Labels allegations. They allege a group of activists, operatives, and party officials of violating federal criminal law, including the RICO statute and a number of civil rights provisions, not to mention the freedom of associated rights that No Labels and all Americans enjoy under their U.S. Constitution. We will have more details on this. This is literally breaking about 1 minute ago, and we want to thank No Labels for including us on their national press releases. At 10:04, here's what's happening locally around the Riverbend. Make sure you sign up for your daily email update where you can join myself and 70,000 people in the know each and every day of the work week and on Saturdays with Around the Riverbend. We'll take you to Carrollton first. Carrollton Police Department has requested public assistance in locating a missing runaway juvenile named Riley. Riley has not been seen or heard from since the 3rd of January, the Carrollton police said in a statement. If you have seen Riley or you know where she is, immediately contact the Carrollton Police Department at 217-942-3135. Dan Brannon broke the news yesterday. In East Alton, Governor J.B. Pritzker made a special visit on Wednesday to join members from Wheeland Rolled Products North America and the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity with other local leaders and partners to announce a Reimagining Energy and Vehicles in Illinois agreement. Wheeland announced at the event that it will invest $500 million in modernizing its East Alton facility, one of 6 across Illinois. The investment, which retains 800 jobs across the state, will enable the company to increase production of critical copper and copper alloy components that are used in electric vehicles, EV charging infrastructure, and renewable energy production while supporting the state's clean energy economy. The company's investments reinforce its long-term commitment to its facilities and the future of advanced manufacturing in Illinois and, most important to the region, the East Alton operation. The announcement is the product of a year of work between the state and Wheeland to ensure Illinois secured this transformative investment. Wheeland's modern plant in Germany, which Governor Pritzker toured alongside Wheeland CEO Dr. Erwin Marr, was used as a benchmark for the modernization of the East Alton facility, a testament to the shared commitment of longevity and growth in Illinois. We have compiled some quotes from that event, and we're going to play them for you now. Here is Governor Pritzker, along with Mayor of East Alton, Darren Carlton, and other officials, including Dr. Erwin Marr, on this groundbreaking announcement.
A few people that I want to thank as I go through this. I want to thank the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, as well as Madison County, for helping the Village of East Alton make this truly a good day today. The partnership between the DCEO and Madison County, the Village of East Alton, and all other taxing districts truly made this venture come to fruition.
Good morning. My name is Kristen Richards, and I'm the Director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO. I'm thrilled to be here in East Alton today to celebrate Wheeland's investment in Illinois. While all business deals are a great accomplishment for the state, it's especially encouraging when existing businesses commit to growing in Illinois, particularly a business like Wheeland with such a storied history right here in East Alton. Wheeland could have invested in any of their global facilities, but they've seen firsthand what Illinois has to offer: competitive incentives, world-class infrastructure, and our unmatched workforce, which was just ranked #1 in the Midwest for the 2nd consecutive year.
Signifying our commitment to technological advancement, sustainability, and our valued customers in North America. However, it's not just an important day for Wheeland. It's a defining moment for American manufacturing and this facility's more than 100 years history. In 1916, Franklin Olin, an American titan of our industry, founded Western Cartridge Company that would later become Olin Brass. Since then, this facility and the generations of workers who have called it home have always rose to the occasion to meet the needs of the United States and the North American market more broadly.
Partners in the Illinois General Assembly, some of whom are here, we've worked across the aisle to get some of these incentives put in place to make sure that we're attracting businesses to the state. I know we have a couple of representatives who were on their way here but didn't quite make it. Representative Jay Hoffman and Representative Katie Stewart. We have Representative Amy Ellick. We have Senator Harris here with us. And all of them have been longtime advocates for this particular investment and these kinds of investments for our state. And I'd also like to shout out Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski, who's been hard at work in Washington, D.C. to make this expansion happen. She's helping to do many more things with Wheeland here and with other companies. And I thank her for her never-ending support for these matters. And finally, to Wheeland's CEO, who I've mentioned, of course, and who's been here at the podium, Dr. Erwin Marr, thank you for your hospitality, your kindness. President Greg Cowan and the entire Wheeland team, thank you all for choosing Illinois.
There you go. Those are the statements from the folks that were at Wieland yesterday. Here's a statement from Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski, who you just heard, Governor Pritzker. A major force in this agreement was one who was ecstatic about the announcement at Wieland that they'll be making that $500 million capital investment. Here's a portion of her quote. I am thrilled to applaud the news that Wieland will be making a $500 million investment into this critical local facility. During my first year in office, I was glad to visit the plant in East Alton and work alongside Governor Pritzker and Senators Durbin and Duckworth to support opportunities for reinvestment right here in the Metro East. State Representative Amy Ellick also shared pride and support of this major investment. Here's her quote. Portion of it. I'm thrilled that Wieland Rolled Products has chosen their East Alton facility to reinvest in advanced manufacturing jobs here in the Metro East. Today's announcement would have not happened without the collaboration and cooperation from state, federal, and local leaders coming together with company officials to keep these skilled jobs right here in East Alton. One final bit of news for you from Dan Brandon in sports. The Alton boys soccer team was recently honored with the IHSA Academic Team Recognition. The 2023 Redbird boys soccer squad, coached by Greg Nasello, carried a 3.34 grade point average with well over 30 kids on the program on a 4.0 scale to be selected to the honor. Greg Nasello, the longtime college instructor and coach, said he was proud of this as a winning record. Being a college instructor, I try to instill in all my players the importance of education. So few players make it to college and even less to a professional level, that the focus of playing any sport needs to be education. Other area teams on the boys soccer list for the fall were Collinsville, Marquette Catholic, Jersey Community High School, and Triad High School. Breeze Mater Dei also on the list. Let's take a look at your weather, 28 degrees, and I'm not going to give you much hope today. It feels like 35, though. Today, considerable cloudiness. Tonight, cloudy and frigid with a bit of snow accumulating, a coating to an inch, breezy later on, and be careful because those untreated surfaces will be slippery. Temperatures are expected to reach 40 degrees today, but we'll see. There's a 50% chance of snow that could come over later on tonight. The temperatures will drop to 8 degrees tonight. I'm sure the overnight warming locations will be open. On Friday, the high will be 13 degrees, a low of 2 on Saturday. We're looking at a high of 15 degrees and a low of 5. Then on Sunday, getting back to some type of normal, a high of 28 degrees, a low of 24. And then on Monday, a big old snowflake on our weather desk, a 90% chance of some good snow. 34 degrees for the high on Monday, 31 for the low. But right now, as it sits at 10:12 on this 18th day of January, a Thursday morning in downtown Alton, it's 28. It feels like 35 for time and temperature throughout the day. You give this phone number a ring. Police, 618-465-4545. Hey, before we take a break, I just want to give a big shout out to our team here at RiverBender. I normally give a live read here, and I'm going to give it to our team. There's a lot of people that struggle with online marketing, and at RiverBender.com, we're not just your daily dose of local. We help provide local businesses, regional businesses, and even a few outside of the state help on their online work, whether it's SEO, whether it's just advertising in general. You know, for all of us here, it's more than just a number. It's more than just a client. We consider you part of the RiverBender family when you join our team. When you join up with RiverBender.com, we'll take care of the hard work, the leg work, and we do it better than anybody else. I mean, you look at some of the other competitors around, and they can't touch it. And so instead of taking the chance of, is this going to work? I encourage you to call us today at 618-465-9850, 618-465-9850, because I guarantee you, we got something that fits your needs and your budget, and you're staying local. No third-party helps us here. We do it all in-house. We don't need to call overseas. We don't need to call down the road because we have a talented team, an experienced team, a dedicated team to help you. I mean, there's a reason that a lot of the other guys are trying to copy what we're doing, but nobody can touch the originals, and that's that team upstairs at RiverBender.com. I'm just glad to be along for the ride. 618-465-9850 to start your journey with RiverBender.com and be the forefront of everything local. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. 10:19, welcome back. 18th day of January on this Thursday morning. It could be a ladies' night. Is it in the morning or afternoon, your event? Bad bumper music. I thought maybe if it was a nighttime thing, you know, I don't know. It was fun while it lasted. Abigail Parker back in studio with Nourished Revival. How is 2024 starting off?
Oh, it's going by way too fast, but it's so good.
Really? Well, that's a good thing.
Yes.
It means you're working hard.
Yes, absolutely. The time's going by.
Have you picked up a little bit of steam?
We're getting there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is all excited about the new year, new goals.
It seems like, you know, for a lot of us anyway, we have grand ideas, and then by the third day, it's like, no, well, maybe not like for... I'll be honest about myself real quick, Abigail. I was at home yesterday because I had my tire blow out on me, and I had a guy riding my butt, so I couldn't get off the road, and my tire fell off the rim or slipped off of it. It was a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was sitting there and thought, you're doing dry January, but man, there's just something about a good silver bullet right now that'll get you through the day. And I was at home anyway. I wasn't here in the office just in case the boss is watching, but my New Year's resolution of just having a dry January ruined within 17 days.
Well, the question I always ask with stuff like that is, did you want to do it or did you feel like you needed to do it? Because there's a difference.
Yeah, I wanted to do it. I don't think need was the thing. It was just more of a, it's a stressful day.
Yeah.
I want to watch, Fox News and yell at the television because I don't agree with them or something, whatever's on.
Yeah.
Kind of a want.
You can't be mad if you wanted to do it, feeling like you're choosing to do it.
That's true. So it's
totally different.
But if I needed it, that's when we have to probably start talking to some folks.
To put it the right way.
Probably already need to do that. But with that being said, I think it's really cool that you're doing some unique things. And the way you're doing it is so unique because you aren't abrasive. You're putting out information that actually is really kind of connecting to so many folks because the one with, is it okay to eat candy? Is it okay to do this? Yes, if you do it with this type of moderation or you have this type of plan in mind. But this is unique. 5 secrets for healthy eating on Saturday at what time?
10 a.m. It is virtual, though.
Oh,
and
cool.
will be recorded. So if you can't even make it for the 10 a.m., you still register, and the recording will get sent out after. So it's really open to anybody to be able to attend.
You're a saint. It's going to be 4 degrees. It's promise I didn't just come off the farm. It's going to be 4 degrees. It's going to be 4 degrees on Saturday morning. It's going to be cold. So turn your Zoom on and learn about some things that might be able to help put you in a good mood on a cold, brisk Saturday morning and get you propelled for the weekend and 2024 as a whole. Now, whenever we talk about these 5 secrets, you can't give me any of them today, obviously. I would assume you can't. I mean, you could, but then that's, the whole point of the thing is to go watch the 5 secrets. But can you give me a synopsis? Look at that fancy word for for what this will encompass.
I did come prepared that I was going to give away one of my secrets for you because I had a feeling that you would ask.
She's a professional, a veteran. That's a veteran guest right there. That's a veteran move.
I've been on here one too many times.
So I will ask you for the one secret to get us all started.
You're talking about how you were giving up drinking for the beginning of the year. And my one secret I'm going to go over kind of goes along with that. If you are feeling like you need to give up things, is that you don't have to give up your favorite foods in order to be healthy.
Really?
We'll be diving into that as
one
of our secrets.
Now I'm intrigued here. So let's say we don't have to go into it because that's the point of you signing up for the class. But I got to ask. You're telling me my favorite food in the world is, I hate to say this, is a Big Mac without lettuce. I don't know why. I just love that damn sandwich. I could eat it all the time. I could eat that and still be healthy.
Oh, absolutely.
No way!
I love the word balance. I had a client call this morning, and that's exactly what we were talking about was the word balance.
Yeah.
And with balance, it means that you can still fit into your diet all of the things that you do enjoy.
Yeah. So with this masterclass, what time again?
It's at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. It's going to be how long?
It's an hour.
Oh.
So it'll be,
yeah.
I'll talk for about 45 minutes or so, and then we'll do Q&A at the end if anybody has any questions.
Really cool. So as you go through this, what's the format of it? Is it more of a lecture up front and then we go into the Q&A, or is it how is the audience going to perceive this?
I am a big fan of saying I don't like to talk to people. I like to talk with people.
Yeah.
So I very much like to have it open interaction. I know sometimes people feel uncomfortable with that where they just want to be quiet. I used to be that person myself. Hard to believe probably now, but I used to be that person where I was like, I don't want to talk. I want to stay quiet, which is totally totally fine. But for the people who are there wanting to engage more and dive into getting some answers for themselves, absolutely, it'll be where I'll be talking, providing the information, and we can have a conversation about it.
Yeah, and you know, how important is that for your work you do with clients? Because I'm sure they're not going to be as receptive if you talk to them, and as opposed if you just talk with them, like you just said. How does that help you with your interactions and your relationship with your clients?
You know, there's a great analogy that I like to use with client work, and that is my clients are driving the car. They are the ones in charge of where we're going, and I'm in the passenger seat just helping guide them. So whenever I have conversations with clients or people in general, it's you get to tell me about what's going on for you, and I'll be here to support you and help to get you where you need to go. But you're the one that's really in charge of what we're going to be talking about and what happens.
And does it surprise you, or does it surprise them whenever you have that initial conversation about how the kind of role is? Does it surprise them a bit, going, Wait, you're serious here? Like, I have control of the wheel? And does that ever happen or come up?
Nobody ever seems really surprised by it, but I can tell a difference between our first call and the second one immediately. The first one, they're always like a little nervous, like, what's going to happen? And then the second one, it's like they just talk and it's fine. Like, they know what's happening and it's great.
That's incredible. Someone just called me from Tampa, Florida. That's weird. Yeah. I'll call you as soon as I can. With that being said, probably my uncle. Whenever I talk with you, I think it's really important that you come on the show, because whenever you're working with somebody on this type of journey here, you need to be able to really tell who they are as a person. And I think there's nobody better in what you need to do for a folk than what you're doing now. Because, I mean, you could have Broomhilda over there screaming at you and going, "Why are you doing this? This is stupid. Wake up." But whenever you have somebody that's compassionate, that knows what they're doing, and that's calm-mannered and is easily approachable, I'm sure it leads to a lot of success for the folks that you do work with.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, thinking about whenever I approach your diet and nutrition, I am not looking at just like judging you for what you eat. And people feel that way a lot whenever I say I'm a nutritionist. They're like, "Oh, please don't judge me." And it's like, no, that's absolutely not what I'm doing. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you get where you want to be. And I think people feel that often whenever they're used to talking about their health and going to the doctor.
Yeah.
The doctor is going to judge them, telling them, "Well, you shouldn't be doing that. You need to do this instead." And that's not where I come from at all. I very much pride myself on actually getting to know the people who are wanting to work with me and helping them instead of telling them.
Exactly. And now take me through some of the folks you work with. What's the demographic? Do you get a lot of younger folks in this, or are we looking more of middle of the ninth hole?
I work with a lot of people who are getting to be that older adult, kind of thinking maybe about retirement, menopausal women at that age even, especially, where things are starting to shift in their health and they're starting to notice that maybe they don't feel as great as they used to. Their energy is starting to be lower. They're not feeling like they want to do all of the things that they used to do. Their weight's starting to shift. Maybe they're having more aches and swelling kind of randomly happening. And it's the people who are saying, I want to take control of my own health. I don't want to have to rely on any other medication or somebody else to take care of me. I want to take charge for myself.
Well, and that's a great point, too. And just thinking out loud here, you can always tell when someone's in that transition, and women or men both. I mean, you can easily tell when somebody's in that, you know, they were just middle of age, middle of life, and now we're getting kind of in that transition of senior, you know, aging and all of that stuff. And you can always tell the difference from somebody that ate healthy, that hydrated themselves with drinking plenty of water in that transition than you can when someone doesn't. And I'm not picking on anybody, because I'm sure that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to have 5 years of looking like somebody just hit me with a Mack truck. But it seems, you know what I'm talking about? It seems like there's always that transitionary stage, and you can tell when you're really feeding your body the right amount of food and any type of hydration, any type of vitamin, compared to if you don't.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what got me into nutrition in the first place.
Really?
I wasn't caring at all what I ate, and it, you know, didn't matter. The only thing I really had an issue with was my sugar cravings were the worst. My weight would fluctuate, and my energy was kind of funky, but I thought, like, those are all normal things. Like, your weight fluctuates, and you have energy issues, whatever. But the sugar cravings, I was like, this is something that I really don't like having to deal with. And as I got into nutrition more, realizing how nutrition affects you now, I started to actually learn how nutrition affects you so much down the road. And that was what really sparked my interest.
That's a wild thing, too, because the long-term effects that can happen whenever you're 20 years old that hit you when you're 35, 40, or even a little bit later if you keep that lifestyle are damning.
Yes.
You know?
There's the saying of, I'm not just living for today.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I like to think of with nutrition and taking care of yourself. It's not just about today.
No, 100%. And now with this on Saturday at 10 o'clock, the Zoom link, is that on your Facebook?
So you can go to my Facebook page. The event is on there that you can get the link to register. Or if you want to make it really easy, just go to my website. We love easy.
What's the
So NouriskedRevival.com.
I knew
like
it.
You knew that.
I knew it. I've heard that like 3 times.
Yes. Just go to NouriskedRevival.com, and there is a button you click that says register now right on my homepage.
Yeah.
And you sign up there, and then the email gets sent out to you immediately with the Zoom link. I'll also send a reminder out day of, so you have that link as well.
And what we'll do is we will link that Zoom link into our on-demand, so that when I send it to you, that will have it in there. So that way anyone on RiverBender.com that watches the interview on demand later on can just click on that link. You're signed up. And what I love is that incentive of no pressure if you can't get logged in at 10. It's recorded, and your how much is the registration cost?
Oh, it's free.
What?
This is free.
Oh, get out of here. You can't do this to yourself. Free?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, are you looking to do more of these type of seminars and type of Zoom meetings?
Absolutely. This will be something that I'm hoping to do at least quarterly this year.
I mean, seriously, Abigail, I mean this. Whenever I first met you, I thought this is going to be something cool because you had this vision and you're putting in the work to do it. You know, sometimes, and I was a business owner too and all that, and I did a little bit of consulting, and when I talked to people, it was like, you got to put the legwork in. You can't just, put your services out there, do classes, make sure you're open to the public and they know that you're willing to talk to them, and you're kicking ass doing that, Abigail.
Oh,
I mean that. Keep it up. And for more information, Nourished Revival, we've already talked for like 20 minutes.
How did that happen?
I don't know, maybe 15, but I do have to talk to National Great Rivers Museum. They have some cool stuff coming down the pipeline and they're here now. But Abigail, I always appreciate talking to you. You know you're always welcome on this show. I love what you're doing. And for more information on how you can sign up for this really cool Zoom class at 10 a.m. on Saturday or whenever you want to get on afterwards, it'll be available at RiverBender.com/daily show with hyperlinks on the on-demand interview. And best of luck to this on Saturday. Let me know how it goes. And anytime you want to come back on, you know where to find me.
Thanks, DJ.
10:31 the time on this Thursday morning, 10:32, but who's counting? We'll take a quick break and our conversations will continue after this. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Jesse James, still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour.
We're on the same page today. We should have just turned the damn camera on during the commercial break, you know? Yep. Better segment. 10:36. I love what you're doing over here at Ed and Greg at National Great Rivers Museum. Allison Rayner joins us now. You sent me some really cool stuff. And I love this idea of opening up and really exploring the other dam systems and other locks around our region because there's quite a few.
Yeah.
I had no idea. This shows my lack of really of looking into it, but it's so fascinating to see how that system works throughout the Mississippi and our waterways.
Yeah, it's super important for all sorts of it's a whole highway. People don't think about the river as a highway, and we're kind of like. The Army Corps of Engineers is sort of like the Department of Transportation. We have to upkeep that highway and make it so that commercial traffic can keep coming up and down river. But
I wanted to ask you, with the winter months and when the river starts to get a little bit of ice on it, how do you all combat that?
So the Rivers Project, our jurisdiction oversees the last 4 locks and dams on the Mississippi River, and we are able to keep those open year-round because we're further down the Mississippi.
Okay.
But there are locks and dams further up the upper Mississippi River that will have to close due to the river just completely icing over. We have issues with ice, but it's more ice coming down river attached to the barges.
Okay.
And we have to figure out how to get that through the system and lock that through.
And another thing about the ice I've always found fascinating, if you see chunks of it frozen over at the surface, obviously the whole river isn't frozen. There's still water moving, correct?
Right, yep.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I always, as a kid, you're like, everything's frozen. Those fish can't move, you know?
Yeah. And those barges can be pushing like a half a mile of ice in front of them, and ice is a pretty destructive force. So lower down the Mississippi River, what we have to do is figure out how to get that ice from one side of the dam to the other. So it can be a whole thing, for sure.
What are some, I'm not putting you on the spot, but what are some of the conversations you have when you have that situation? You have to get ice from one side to the other.
Yeah, so at Melvin Price, we have a lift gate, which is unique in that we can lower the gate just so, create a waterfall that gives us suction, and we can sweep ice and debris downriver really easily. Up at Lock and Dam 25 and 24, we're going to be talking about 24 today, there's just the miter gates, the doors that open and close. So once you get the ice in there, there's no motor on the ice to make it go. So there's lots of fanning the gates, and I mean, it can take all day sometimes.
Wow, we got lucky at Melvin Price.
Mhm,
I mean,
yeah.
that shows you how
Mhm.
important that lift gate is.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of Dam 24, the Army Corps of Engineers River Project Office, again partnering with the City of Clarksville. Now, public touring for this doesn't happen very often.
No, so Melvin Price is open for public touring 7 days a week, and it was created for that in mind. So
really,
yeah. So there's if you go up on a tour of Melvin Price, there will be cutouts where there's screens for shorter kids to be able to see without having to be lifted over. But the other locks and dams were created for function. They're very industrial. So they're not open for public touring, and we partner with the City of Clarksville on some of their larger events. So we have Apple Fest in October, and then we do Clarksville Eagle Days in January, where we will bring our rangers and our museum volunteers up to Lock and Dam 24, and we will provide public touring pretty much just twice a year. It is a bit of an endeavor for us because we do have to rope off some stuff and make it safe for the public. But it's interesting because it's a completely different lock and dam.
That's what I was going to ask you. A perfect segue here, because to me, I mean, this is kind of going to be night and day different, I would assume, than a Melvin Price with the different technology there.
Yes.
So, to give it all away, but let's start with this. How far of a commute is it up to Clark's, down or up?
It's up, and it's going to be from Alton, maybe an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. And and what we're offering is the tours of Lock and Dam, but there is an entire 2-day festival happening that the City of Clarksville is putting on. There's more to go up for.
Yeah, stay for the weekend. Maybe an overnighter or something at an Airbnb or a hotel, and then you have some fun in Clarksville. It's a nice town. It's quaint.
It's super cute.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And so with this, how does it differ from Melvin Price without giving away the whole secret?
Sure. So like with Melvin Price, anybody that's local and has been on a tour, you ride the elevator up, you're 80 feet in the air, and you can walk across, right, over the lock chambers. The Lock and Dam 24, there isn't that up and over. So we actually have to walk on the miter gates, so the gates that open and close. We work with the lock master, and there's no boat coming, the gates are closed, and we walk across the miter gates, which is just kind of like a screen, and you can see down, and it's a lot of fun. We also say we recommend for ages 10 and up, just for that reason. But it's an experience.
It is.
You're gonna walk across the lock. You're gonna be right next to the boats that are locking through, and then it isn't an accessible tour because it wasn't made for the public. So we do have a staircase that we have to go up, and then we can get on top of the dam and overlook the river there.
Well, and that experience alone, number one, hopefully the Lockmaster likes you guys that day.
Well, they like us.
But no, when I was in London, one of the bridges, I am going to get crucified because I forgot it. They have this thing where you can look down and see the water from up top, and there's something about that. Just even being, how high are you going to be on Dam 24? About 40?
No, I mean Lock and Dam 24 is at ground level, so the gates are like ground level, but then the water might be like 20 feet below that.
Okay, so you're going to be able to be on top of it though and see, and seeing that is actually a really cool experience.
Yeah, and at Melvin Price, we don't walk across the miter gates. Yeah.
Okay, now this is really fun. And now, have you been a part of just Eagle Days as a whole and been able to kind of go through any? Because I know you're working that day, obviously, but are you able to observe any other events, components to this?
Yeah, so we try to rotate our staff out so that we can eat and see some other
good point.
see some other stuff going on for the weekend. We at Lock and Dam 24. So the event Clarksville Eagle Days is 10 to 4.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. The 27th and 28th, I think, is that Saturday and Sunday of January. In addition to the Lock and Dam tours, there will be World Bird Sanctuary offering free bird tours, free bird shows in what they call the Apple Shed. It's downtown, a little like warehouse type of thing. And there will be other vendors in there as well. The VFW will be doing barbecue, and then Master Naturalists will be on the riverfront at the Riverview Park there with spotting scopes looking at eagles. And
really cool.
Yeah.
I heard they have a really nice eagle scene up in Clarksville, too.
They do. Yeah, if you get lucky, you can just see like 40, 50s. I mean, they're everywhere.
That's what's wild. So when I was in Austin, they did not believe me when I said that. Because, I was talking to Dustin one day, my trainer over there, and he was going, you know, man, and his voice is so raspy. Go, I love those bald eagles. You never see them, and it's like. I said, man, you're in the wrong spot. I see so many of them. It's kind of like, oh, like there's an eagle.
You get jaded to it.
Yeah.
That's why if you want to get unjaded, go up to Clarksville and just see them in mass.
Yeah,
it's
that
crazy.
That would be awesome. And now, also, in addition to the tour days, that I do get paid, the 2 days of touring in conjunction with the Eagle Days event are adding an additional day of activities for surrounding schools that Friday.
Yeah, so we go up every January. We partner with the City of Clarksville to offer this experience in conjunction with their Clarksville Eagle Days, which is all day Saturday and Sunday. Something that we've been working towards these last few years, you know, trying to come out of COVID, is sending all of our Rangers up that Friday as well and making it a 3-day event. Friday isn't open to the public, but getting the local schools out to be able to experience that. So we've got 6 local schools, over 200 students that are going to be coming out and spending the day with us on Friday. They'll be taking a tour of Lock and Dam 24 with Army Corps Rangers, and then rotating through to the Riverfront Park, where Audubon and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will be doing eagle spotting and s'mores with some fire pits. And then a third rotation will be at the Apple Shed we mentioned, and Treehouse Wildlife Center will be doing some animal shows.
You know, I really like that with the kids with the fires and things, because I did not realize how some kids don't have any experience with any type of that, and it freaks them out.
Yes.
I mean, it's a really good learning experience.
Yeah, it's a super fun winter activity to do.
Yeah, this is so fun. Well, and what's the goal of this, really?
The goal is to talk to people about the importance of the river. You know, the river doesn't just exist in Alton. You know, we have, I mean, it's like the 4th largest river in the entire world. Like, we can get kind of jaded to having grown up next to it and live and work next to it, but it is a huge deal.
You're right. And I'm not laughing at you. It's so funny because, again, when I'm traveling and they talk about, like, they bring up the river, it's like, okay. It's like Floridians with the ocean. It's like, who gives a damn?
Right. Yeah. Like, we want to go see the ocean when we go to Florida, but like, I think of it as if we get a lot of international travelers to the museum too. And think of, like, if I was in Brazil, I would want to put my eyes on the Amazon. Right. And that's how people feel. But we don't feel that way about our own Amazon.
Yeah,
you know?
And we don't explore it. And that's why I love that you do this and give these opportunities. Now, are you having schools schedule appointments still, or how does that work for the 26th?
So we have an education coordinator who reached out to as many local schools as she could, and I think she's pretty much booked everybody that she's going to book.
How many you got coming? You know,
we got over 200 students, so. It's going to be an undertaking, but we're going to do it.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be 3 days it could be sub-zero, and it's not. So it doesn't look like it's going to be.
Point.
So, and we have done it in sub-zero before.
Well, and see, that's what I think. It shows another component of NGREC and really just the National Park Service as a whole is that it's just like the mail office. It doesn't matter if it's -10 outside. We have a job to do because we are managing a major thoroughfare.
Yep.
And it's huge. And now, with that being said, what are some of the things that kind of stick in your mind when you see kids interact with, some of these exhibits and some of these demonstrations? Because I'm sure, like we just hit on, it's the first time they've been able to do these things. Do you see a lot of hope or just a lot of excitement about the potential for?
Yeah, so there's it depends on the child, but we get a lot of I had no idea.
Yeah.
We also will get a lot of questions about like future careers too, because we do a lot of like career stuff. Because people think working on the river is like you have to be a fisherman or like there's so many. You can be an electrician or an engineer or you could be a writer. There's so many ways to interact with the river,
right?
And have a future in natural resources.
And it ain't going to go away.
No.
There ain't no computer that's going to be able to do what you're doing, and that's a huge component of it. And as we're getting back to just the weekend as a whole, Saturday, 27th of January, Sunday, the 28th, which is the greatest day of the year. I don't know why, but it is.
Is it your birthday?
Yeah, it is. 10 a.m. to 3:30 at the Clarksville Eagle Days. And this is the tours of Lock and Dam number 24. 20-minute intervals?
Yeah, so the way the bulk of the festival will be in downtown Clarksville. We also have people on the riverfront looking at eagles, like I said. And less than a mile from downtown where the apple shed is and the animal shows and the vendors are, is Lock and Dam 24. And all you have to do is show up because we're running tours every 20 minutes. And if one just went, we'll get you on the next one.
Yeah.
So they're going to run, the event is 10 to 4. So we'll be running tours 10 to 3:30. We'll do our last one.
Really cool. And is there anything that you look forward to the most when you go up there? Because I wanted to ask you one last question on this before I ask you about just winter on the river.
The thing that I look forward to the most is just, I mean, it's a small town, but people come out by the hundreds.
Yeah.
And we've had people travel from quite afar saying, I've lived in this area for so long and I've never been able to set foot on the Clarksville Dam. So that's so fun because it's not normally open to the public.
And it's just, and honestly, I think for a lot of people, it's going to be really insightful to see how these things around us work. I was at the North Alton Godfrey Business Council, and Dennis Wilsmeyer will be on next week from America's Central Port. But we were talking just about the freightway system that we have in St. Louis in this region, and it's huge. I mean, no one realizes that we have a global. I mean, it is the. They call it the national waterway, really, because of how much it helps and provides for not just us but the country.
Yeah.
And just little nuances like that, plus seeing the fact that if we didn't have you, you wouldn't be getting half of your grain or whatever's on that barge because it'd be stuck somewhere in the middle of the river.
Yeah, so this part of the river where we're at currently would only be about 3 to 4 feet deep, and those commercial barges need a draft, which means they need to be able to sink because if they're heavy. 10 feet. Nine. Well, we maintain 9 feet.
Yeah.
But they need another foot draft, so it gets sticky during low water. But yeah, we're congressionally mandated to maintain at least 9 feet.
And now, whenever you get to this point, whenever it's -7 outside and -10, I mean, there's not much anybody can do for anything in terms of warmth or heating things up. What is your job at that point? Because you still have traffic coming through. You have thank goodness for the lift gate to make sure the ice is gone. But even though the ice is gone, you still have cold mechanical components that I'm sure you have to monitor and all of those resources too.
Yeah, so we have electricians and mechanics and welders that are proactive and reactive, and we have lockmasters and shift chiefs that think ahead about what they might need to do to mitigate any issues that are coming down the river because of weather. And then our team that works with the community, we have an entire museum there, so we can still offer warmth and interaction inside.
I just think it's really fascinating because if we ever had an issue where we couldn't get that lift gate or that dam open or whatever we needed to, that could cause some serious issues. And it's great to know the team's always a step ahead, and I'm sure works around the clock whenever it's that cold, and you know that there's a chance of something.
We're always working around the clock. Melvin Price is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We don't close ever.
There you go. And that's why it's probably one of the best locking. I just think we have such an amazing resource with you and your team and just everybody a part of it. Plus, it goes beyond the actual dam. I mean, just talking to the photo contest coordinator and hearing her insights was amazing too, because everyone on your team, no matter what their role is, really cares about INGREC. They care about the waterway. They care about what your mission is. And you have a hell of a team right now.
Yes, we do. I love coming to work because I love what I do, but also I work with a bunch of really, really amazing people.
Yeah.
But we're centered, we have our offices here in Alton, but our project's footprint is 300 miles in the Mississippi and 80 of the lower Illinois. So we have 380 river miles. We have land on both the Missouri and Illinois side. You mentioned Dennis with Central Port. We grant our property to them. Yeah, we do a lot of the Alton Marina. That's our property that we grant out to them. There's a lot behind the scenes of U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service at Two Rivers. Some of that is our property. We work in tandem with so many different agencies to try to make life on the river as good as possible.
When I was pitching the boardwalk years ago, this is 8 years ago, I was doing the research on what is actually owned by a local entity, and there was one section, and that's probably, I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure it's been bought and paid for now, but there was one section of the river and the Alton side of it that really could have been utilized. The rest is yours. I mean, it's the National Corps or Army Corps of Engineers territory. I mean, that's your property. No one realizes, well, why don't they just build all this stuff? Why don't they? Because it's not ours.
Yep, we have just our project alone is, I believe it's about 50,000 acres of land and 100,000 acres of water.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
Hold on here. 100,000 acres of water? Mm-hmm. Is that just the river?
Yeah, so like from Saverton, Missouri down to Cairo is our jurisdiction, our footprint. And then once you get north of that, you get into the Rock Island district and those locks and dams.
That's incredible. Let's get back to, because I'm running out of show time today. I just talking to you is so fascinating to learn about this. We're talking about the Park Rangers again, open Lock and Dam 24 to public touring. This is during the Clarksville Eagle Days. Throughout the 2-day event, Park Rangers will offer public tours of Lock and Dam 24, which never really usually happens. This is exciting.
It's special.
What have I not hit on that we need to get across? Did we tick all these boxes already?
We've ticked most of them. I just want to try to make sure that people understand that it's an hour and a half. It's not that hard.
It's a good day trip.
It's like it's going to take you 45 minutes to get to the zoo. You know what I mean? Like, and people make that commute all the time. Just head up. It's a beautiful. It's different on the river there.
Yeah.
So like here, we're just downstream of the confluence with the Illinois. It's much larger. So if you go up, it's a smaller river. It's a different river. It's a different dam, and there is an entire 2-day festival going on. So just come see us.
Well, and let me give a little bit more to that live read. Hey, you got to drive, like Allison said, 45 minutes to the zoo. In that 45 minutes, you were going to get ran off the road twice. You were going to get somebody riding your butt in the right lane because they don't realize that's the cruise lane. You're going to have all this happen to you. You might have, people flipping you off, yelling at you. It's a war zone on 270 and 367. And you can take a nice, relaxing trip up to Clarksville.
It is.
And just relax and enjoy the weekend, because that's all really you can do.
Yep.
Allison, I always appreciate your insights, and thank you so much for always stopping by.
Me.
10:56 the time on this Thursday morning. We'll take a quick break, and I'll come back and wrap up this show and see if I'm going to get in any trouble today and start ranting.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Lennox system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Look around your world, pretty baby. Is it everything you hoped it'd be? The wrong guy, the wrong situation, the right time to roll to me. Roll to me.
Welcome back, 10:59. Before I say goodbye, we will be talking to Pat McCrory, who is the former governor of North Carolina, with no labels tomorrow, as they announced that they have asked the Department of Justice to start their investigation into what they're claiming to be violations of the law, so including the RICO statute. I'm going to ask Pat about all of that in tomorrow's show. Want to thank you all for all the support you give me. And seriously, it means a lot. And I saw Margaret Freer made a great post and gave me a really cool shout out. And all of you that, weighed in and showed your love, I appreciate it. Because in a world full of somebody that when they see someone doing something good, they want to do it too because they can do it. And then they realize they can't. We've experienced that 4 or 5 times already. And it's not because of me. It's because of the team we have here at RiverBender. It's because of the guests, but most importantly, it's because of all of you. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow live at 9 for more of our daily show on RiverBender.com, the only true source of local news. So on that note, have a great day and try your best to stay out of jail.